From a player snorting lines to Ronaldo smashing his opponent, these are the 10 football celebrations that have been banned from football. And first, a celebration that literally ended a footballer's career. Back in 2013, Georgios Katidis and AEK Athens were playing Veria in what seemed like a completely normal Greek league match. With the score tied 1-1 in the dying minutes, both teams were pushing hard, and when the ball fell to Katidis, he wasted no time banging it home. But what followed left everyone in shock. OMG, bro pulled out a Nazi salute. This is the kind of fooling that gets you erased from football overnight. And Greece's Football Federation didn't hesitate. They banned him from the national team for life. And although Katidis claimed he didn't know what the gesture meant, it didn't matter. The damage was done.
But how could he have thought that that was going to play well?
No, I don't know how he doesn't know. I guess they don't have History Channel in Greece where they just see Hitler all day, every day.
But this is not something that he's just unaware of or something that happened 10,000 years ago. This is still a very active part in some cultures in Europe. So you can't tell me for a second that he didn't know what he was doing.
And while Katidis' career ended in silence, the next man's celebration was an all-out revenge. The build-up to the Champions League clash between Atletico Madrid and Juventus was personal because of one man, Cristiano Ronaldo, a guy who'd been tormenting Atleti for years. So when Atleti took a 2-0 lead in the first leg, their coach completely lost the plot and celebrated like this.
Jimenez through the crowd. Go now to happen. Put to the floor. Griezmann in it, got a flick. And it's turned in by Godin. Slammed in, and Atletico now do have their lead.
When asked why, he said his boys had balls. Sure, but little did he know Ronaldo was watching this and taking notes. 26 minutes into the second leg, Ronaldo headed one in to give Juve the lead, and suddenly the comeback was alive.
Doing what Ronaldo does.
In the second half, he scored again to level it on aggregate, and at this point, you could feel the whole tie shifting. Then, in the 85th minute, penalty, step up, buried. Hat trick, one of the greatest comebacks in Champions League history. So when the final whistle blew, you already knew what was coming. Bro hit him with his own celebration, and you could feel the satisfaction radiating off this man. However, the officials didn't like his energy and slapped him with a $23,000 fine, which is basically lunch money for Ronaldo. But even this couldn't crack our top 8, because what Robbie Fowler did at number 7 earned him the largest fine in Premier League history at the time. And wait till you see what happened at number 3, where 2 teammates turned a World Cup match into a national emergency. But before we get to those, we have to see a turn into an OnlyFans model on live TV. Back in 2016, Kay Kamara and the Revolution were going up against the Impact on Decision Day. New England already knew they were making the MLS playoffs win or lose, so there was zero pressure, which is exactly when players start doing stupid things. They came out dominating, and by the 60th minute, the Impact were done, arguing with refs, picking up yellows left and right, so in the 70th minute, Kamara scored and decided to become freaky. Damn, most people make you pay for that type of content, but Kamara blessed everybody in that stadium with a free trial. As expected, the refs threw him a yellow card. Literally threw it at his twerking ass. But as crazy as this was, it's nothing compared to the celebration that comes next. Back in 1999, Robbie Fowler was tearing up the Premier League for Liverpool. The man was so good, his own fans nicknamed him God, so you can't blame other teams for being scared of him. But coming into a match against Everton, their fans tried to throw him off by spreading rumors about him doing drugs. But Robbie wasn't having any of it, so when he scored a penalty, he dropped to the touchline and
restore penalty for Liverpool, and it's very well taken.
Bro pretended to snort the white line on the pitch in front of 40,000 people on live television.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Are you serious right now?
I don't think that's what they meant by snorting lines, Robbie, but you do you. Liverpool pulled off the win 3-2, but the FA saw absolutely nothing funny about it. They hit him with a 6-game suspension and the largest fine in Premier League history at the time, £44,000. But while Robbie's celebration was reckless, the next one was just embarrassing. In the 2015 Europa League, Teo and Sporting Lisbon desperately needed a result against Besiktas, or their European campaign was over. They went down 1-0 in the first half, and things were looking bleak. But in the 76th minute, Teo scored the crucial equalizer and decided he wanted to send a message. Bro was so desperate, he literally robbed the referee. And failing, and still getting a yellow. That's like trying to steal a cop's handcuffs and getting arrested. But at least Teo kept his clothes on. Can't say the same about the next guy. In the 2012 Euros, Nicolas Bettner and Denmark were coming into their second group match against Portugal. Now, if you know anything about Bettner, you know this man genuinely believes he's the best striker on the planet. Bro once said he was better than Messi with a straight face. But in this match though, Denmark was getting dominated 2-0, and that confidence was fading fast. However, Denmark got lucky in the 41st minute when he knocked in a header to give his team some life. But with Denmark still trailing, it wasn't the time for theatrics. So Bettner kept cool until the 79th minute when he finally got his moment. This man scored, lifted his shirt to show fans what he was packing, but what he had under was a Paddy Power underwear. He called them his lucky charm. But with Denmark eventually losing the match 3-2, that sums up the gambling industry. However, UEFA weren't having any of the charm BS and hit him with a €100 fine and a 1-game suspension, officially making those the most expensive pair of underwear in football history.
Oh my God. Hell no.
But while Bettner was busy modeling, the next celebration was a calculated act of war.
Theatrical dive right in front of David Moyes.
The Merseyside Derby, October 2012, Goodison Park. For weeks, Everton manager David Moyes had been in the press, calling Luis Suarez a diver. Publicly, repeatedly, like he has a personal beef with the man. Well, Suarez remembered every single word. The game was a war, exactly the kind of match you'd expect from a Merseyside derby. Everton clawed back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, and with 8 minutes left, most people would have settled for a draw. But Suarez isn't most people. In the 82nd minute, he picked up the ball outside the box and hit an absolute banger that flew into the net. But the goal wasn't the story. What came next was.
And he's pulled it across. Sterling went down, but it's fallen to Suarez anyway. And Luis Suarez strikes as Liverpool hit first in the Merseyside derby.
Bro ran to the touchline and did a full exaggerated swan dive right in front of Moyes, then lay there pretending to be crippled by an invisible foul. The entire stadium went nuts. The camera cut to the Everton manager and his face was pure stone. Not a flicker, not a blink, just a man watching his own words get thrown back at him in front of millions of people. Although he got a yellow card for excessive celebration, you could tell Suarez would have paid any fine on earth for that moment.
What do you make of the Luis Suarez celebration, Chris?
I thought it was great. I actually quite like that.
And with that, we've made it to our top 3. Fasten your seatbelts and get your popcorn ready, because at number 2, we've got a 100-yard sprint fueled by years of hatred. And at number 1, a man who grabbed a microphone and ended his own career with 5 words. Things are about to get very serious, starting with 2 teammates who turned a World Cup match into a national crisis. It was in a match between Switzerland and Serbia at the 2018 World Cup. On paper, it was just another group stage match, but underneath, this game was sitting on a landmine of history that had nothing to do with football. Both Granit Xhaka and Xherdan Shaqiri are of Kosovar-Albanian heritage, and Kosovo's independence from Serbia is one of the most sensitive political issues in that region. Serbia doesn't recognize Kosovo as a country, and for families like Xhaka's and Shaqiri's who lived through that conflict, this match meant everything. So this wasn't just football, this was deeply personal. Serbia took an early lead, and it felt like the script was writing itself. But in the 52nd minute, Xhaka fired a rocket from outside the box to level it. And instead of a normal celebration, he ran straight to the camera, put his hands together, spread his thumbs, and formed the shape of a double-headed eagle with his hands. But things escalated in the 90th minute when Shaqiri, whose family literally fled Kosovo during the war, scored the winner and hit the exact same gesture.
What a turnaround from Switzerland! 1 goal down at the break. They have now scored twice in this second half. Switzerland have become the first country at the 2018 World Cup to...
What was supposed to be a routine group stage match had just become an international flashpoint that made headlines way beyond the sports pages. FIFA fined both players 10,000 Swiss francs each. But let's be real, for Xhaka and Shaqiri, this was never about football. This was about identity, family, and a history that runs so deep no fine could ever erase it. But while those eagles carried meaning, the next celebration carried years of pain. In 2009, Emmanuel Adebayor left Arsenal for Man City, and the fans felt he betrayed the club for money. It was one of the most controversial transfers of that era. So when City visited the Arsenal stadium, the fans hurled insults at him from the first whistle to the last, letting him know exactly how they felt about his decision. But this wasn't just about a transfer. When Adebayor played for Arsenal, he remembered the racist chants those same fans directed at him week after week. That kind of pain doesn't fade. It just sits there, building, waiting for the right moment to come out. And that moment came when he rose highest to score a towering header.
Good advantage played again by Mark Clattenburg. Sean Wright Phillips, Adebayor! Well, that is the moment that he has dreamt about. And so too of Manchester City. An Emmanuel Adebayor goal against Arsenal. And he sets off to celebrate like never before.
A 100-yard sprint, the full length of the pitch, sliding on his knees right in front of the Arsenal fans. You could feel every ounce of frustration and hurt leave his body on that run. But the FA didn't care about his feelings and handed him a 2-match ban and a £25,000 fine. Worth every penny, I say. Because some celebrations aren't about the goal. They're about everything that came before it.
I think it's quite disgraceful. I mean, running over to the away fans.
You got your goal, you continued your 100% scoring record. Did you lose your head a bit afterwards?
I could have not do what I have done, but you know, it's like the emotional take over me. The frustration is out of me. You know, I'm very sorry for doing what I have done. I have done a big mistake today, and I think tomorrow this thing will never happen anymore.
But while Adebayor's celebration was emotional, our number 1 is something else entirely. A celebration that single-handedly ended a player's career. Croatia versus Iceland, World Cup playoff second leg. The home crowd was electric because Croatia needed just one solid performance to book their ticket to Brazil 2014. And they delivered with a convincing 2-0 win. The stadium erupted. Players were crying. Fans were hugging strangers. It was one of those perfect football nights where everything just falls into place. But in the middle of all that joy, one man was about to turn the greatest night of his career into the very last. Josip Šimunić, over 100 caps, a legend of Croatian football, grabbed a microphone on the pitch after the final whistle and led the crowd in a chant. And then silence, because people started to realize what they just heard. Za dom spremni was the historic salute of Croatia's Nazi faction. In one moment, what should have been pure celebration, the happiest night in Croatian football instantly turned dark. Šimunić later said he was just expressing love for his country and that people needed to learn some history. But the backlash was immediate and fierce. Croatian officials, anti-fascist groups, international media, everyone condemned it. FIFA launched proceedings within days. Less than a month later, a 10-match ban and a €24,000 fine ruled out of the World Cup he just helped qualify for. A career's worth of work undone in 30 seconds. That might be the saddest ending to a football story I've ever told. But while these players were fighting for their lives on the pitch, referees were busy making decisions so bad, they'll make you question whether they even watch football. I'm talking about a player getting 2 yellow cards in 10 seconds just for talking, and Ronaldo kicking someone in the chest on live television and walking away with just a yellow. Click on the next video to see the 25 most shocking referee mistakes in football history.